What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? I I ain't got my camera on because I ain't want y'all to see how I'm devouring these leftover ribs. What's going on? What's up, Will? What's up, here to learn and chef? I ain't want y'all to see me the way I'm devouring these leftover ribs from Texas Roadhouse. I think they kind of snowed me, man. I look like I got it seemed like I got two different types of ribs. That first, you got a full slab. The first half of that slab was tender and baby back rib ish. And now the second half of the slab, the bones don't look like baby backs and they tough. They don't look like baby backs and they tough. Like the first half was tender, falling off the bone, and the bones look like the baby back bones. But these right here, they kind of, this half of the slab tough. I don't know what's going on with this, man. Let me slide it to the side and let's get into this. I did take the day off. What's up, Aloysius' mom? I'm watching. What's up with you? Long time no see. Hey, I was sitting back here getting my chart ready for next week. Excuse me. I said, let me jump on and share my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate those of you who reached out to me and Christopher wishing us happy birthday. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the love. I don't miss Taryn. I miss everybody else, but I don't miss Taryn. Oh, hey, Taryn. I didn't see you come in. How you doing, Taryn? Ignore anything I said in the last 30 seconds of this broadcast. So let's get into what Lil Timmy Rogers thinking. Since I already updated my chart, as you see, I got the July monthly high and low marked out as my monthly buy side and my monthly sell side. What I'm gonna do, excuse me, since I already marked my chart, I'm not gonna keep you long. It's 9:34 on a Sunday evening, so I'm just gonna talk about what I'm seeing, what my bias is for each time frame, right? So looking at the monthly time frame here, what have we done, right? Got a nice little area, engineering liquidity. Then we left that area to the upside. What we call that pow. Got a nice little pow to the upside, right? This July monthly candle closed very near the high. Power 3 on July. Open, went down, went up, closed near the high. Power 3 on the high. Look as if it's reaching for this buy side or that buy side. That's what the monthly candle seems to be reaching for. Since this the highest high, right? We're going to say that's the destination. This is low-hanging fruit on the monthly. So the monthly time frame, I'm looking at that as bullish. All right. Why am I looking at that as bullish? I'm looking at that as bullish. Let me do this. All right. Looking at that as bullish. Well, I won't put it right here for right now. All right. Why am I looking at that as bullish? Because we closed near the high. So not I appreciate Rhonda. Appreciate that, Rhonda. Christopher, Rhonda said happy birthday. Because we the way the candle closed, right? And with a move like this, right? I anticipate base from candle to candle on the monthly. Whenever we get a candle that closes near the high like this, right? I anticipate that high being taken out. If I anticipate the high being taken out, right, that's giving me a bullish bias. If I have a bullish bias, I want to see some type of retracement to attack that high, right? That's what I like to see for my bullish bias. If I see an attack on the high immediately, right, I'm going to wait to see if it's a full out reversal or just a continuation attack. But right now on the monthly, we've had an extended move, right? So when we get a large candle like this, and a large candle, this candle is much larger than this one. But whenever we get large candles like this on the monthly higher time frame type basis, I'm anticipating I'm anticipating some type of pullback to continue up or some type of consolidation, right? So right now we're pulling back. It's the first week of the month. We haven't completed a full week in this month. We had 4 trading days thus far. So it's the first week of the month, right? And we've pulled back, you know what I'm saying, almost the entire month of June. We've pulled back almost to the July open. We've pulled almost to the July open, right? So what negates the bullishness on the monthly for me? What's up, Michelle? What negates the bullishness on the monthly for me? Breaking this low right here, right? So the bullishness on the monthly is still intact for me until we break this low right there. Why is that the low I'm looking at to say that breaks the bullishness on the monthly? Because we offer buy side, sell side here, inside there, and then we left that area. So I'm looking at this area right here, right, as what? Can somebody tell me what I'm looking at this area as? All right. Can somebody tell me what I'm looking at that area as? All right. While I get my Fibonacci's together over here on this. All right. What's up, Trey? Thank you for the birthday wishes to me. Chris, Michelle said, I think you're in the shower. Michelle said, happy birthday. Balanced price range. Yes. Balanced price range. Balanced price range. Everybody that said balanced price range, you are correct. Balanced price range. That too, right? I'm looking at that as a balanced price range, right? So since that's a balanced price range on the monthly, right? This is when we left the area. So this is the price leg that I'm looking at, right? Because this is a balanced price range. Price is done with that for the time being in my mind, because we had heavy institutional order flow to the upside, right? Heavy bullish institutional order flow to the upside, extremely heavy. Now, this low is what negates the bullishness on the monthly time frame for me. If we don't break this low right here, I'm still bullish on the monthly, right? Right now, we're just pulling back, right? Right. How far can we pull back on the monthly and it not affect me at all, right? It not concern me at all. Down here into this monthly fair value gap, I won't be concerned at all into this monthly fair value gap, right? When will I start getting concerned about the monthly time frame, right? I'll start getting concerned about the monthly time frame if we start disrespecting these down close candles over here. See, like these down close candles, like this one particularly, right? But more so this one right here, because the close of that is, the open of this is much higher than the open of this one here. But right, once we start getting down to this right here, we've already blew past all of the OTE, right? So this, the last line of defense on the OTE, if we see right here, is just, and I just peeped this. I didn't even notice that the OTE was there. I was just looking at this down close candle right here inside this little consolidation area that had a higher open than the last one, right? And then this one here, it, you know what I'm saying, how it got that long wick there, right? Let's see what the wick is on this right here. Right, that wick, consequent encroachment of that wick puts us in the same little area. All, you know what I'm saying, all that confluence right there out, you know what I'm saying. So once we start getting down into these right here, that'll start causing concern. If we break that low right there, that'll put me bearish on the monthly, right? So monthly bullish, right? Whenever I look at something and try to get a bias for it, I always look for what negates that. What negates that bias, what switches that bias, what changed that bias. And for the monthly, we got a mighty long way to go to change that bias, right? Mighty long way to go to change that bias. We've been Hussein Bolt this year, right? Now monthly bias, bullish. Let's go to the weekly. On the weekly, only thing I have marked out is this weekly bullish breaker down here. I marked this out one day last week. I just left it there, right? I left it there. That weekly bullish breaker right there, I left it there. We got down to a weekly fair value gap, right? We got down to a weekly fair value gap, and we closed very near the low. So for my weekly, I'm anticipating an attack on the lows, right? I'm anticipating attack on the lows. So for my weekly bias, right, my weekly bias right now is bearish, right? My weekly bias is bearish. Why is my weekly bias bearish? Why is my weekly bias bearish? Let's go through and see. So my weekly bias is bearish. Why is it bearish? Right? Because of how the weekly candle closed. And since the weekly candle closed like this, I'm anticipating an attack on these lows, right? So since I'm anticipating an attack on the lows, that's my bearish bias, right? I'm bearish on that because I'm looking to attack the lows. So if I'm looking to attack the lows on the weekly, I want to see the weekly retrace up and give me an opportunity to sell short into the lows. All right. As we open up, it started to retrace up. We could retrace up tonight, come down and attack them lows. And then if the lows are attacked, now I got to wait to see what it offer me later in the week. You know, what negates my weekly bearishness on what's the name? Disrespecting this last up close candle mean threshold. Right? If we get above this right here, well, first of all, it won't bother me if we went up to consequent encroachment or mean threshold of this weekly range. Equilibrium. I'm talking about consequent equilibrium of this weekly range, right? That won't bother me because it's going back up into a premium on the weekly. No harm, no foul. I don't care about that. What negates the bearishness for the weekly for me is if we disrespect consequent encroachment of this up close candle right here at 45.94.25. That right there, okay, that negates the bearishness on the weekly for me. That's the hey Tim, pump your brakes. Let's rethink this thing. You done got to your point of negating your bearishness. Doesn't mean the bearishness is over, no, but right there, hey, hold, sit on your hands, homeboy, right there. But pulling back up to equilibrium of this week at 45, 57, 75, don't bother me at all. Just getting back up to a premium. What would be nice to see, pushing up to the high of this weekly BISI that we repriced. We repriced all the way to the exact bottom of that BISI. The low on that candle right there is 44.9375, and the low on that Bissy is 44.9375. We came down to the exact low, repriced all the way to the exact low, and closed near the low. So what would be beautiful, trading back up to the high and then attacking that low. That would be textbook. That would be perfect to me. Why? Because we would be an offered sell side, right? Trade it back up to the high of it and reject it off the high. That would be beautiful to me. Right now, we're flirting around consequent encroachment of that Bissy that we're trading back up. We're retracing back up through that red line in the middle right there. That's consequent encroachment of that Bissy. That's the 50% mark of that Bissy. So for the weekly, I'm bearish on the week. Right. And again, I'm bearish on the week because I'm anticipating the low to be attacked. That I keep it that simple when I'm looking for my bias. When I'm looking for my, I look at what the candle did. We took out low, and got into a Bissy and closed near the low. So since we took out lows and closed near the low, I'm anticipating an attack on the low. So I'm looking for a reason for price to retrace up and then attack the low. Can you trade back up? Yes, you can. You have to decide, where am I willing to trade back up to, right? You can say, okay, I'm going to take it back up to the mean threat. To equilibrium, right? Because you're going to sell in a premium. You can drop to a lower time frame and say, hey, I'm going to take it back up to a daily order block. Hey, I'm going to take it back up to a daily fair value gap. Hey, you can trade against the grain, or you can, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, my bias can be totally wrong. We could be came down into this the high of this down close candle and take off and go take out the buy side. That would be beautiful too if we took off and took out this buy side, because that would play into the theory that I was saying, taking out this high early in the month to come down and take care of that monthly fair value gap. You know what I'm saying? Take out that high first, then come down and take out the monthly fair value gap to give August that bearish tone. But just trade what you see. Let's go to the daily. I ain't gonna run my mouth all night. Daily, on the daily bearish, right? The daily bearish. Why is the daily bearish? Same reason why the weekly bearish. How we trade it. Right? Let's get our stuff together. Same reason why I'm bearish on the weekly. How we trade it. Dog it. Right. Daily bias, bearish. Right? Why is it bearish on the daily? For the same reason for the weekly. Right? Friday, we went up, right? Took out the high, rejected off the high, right? Also got up into this the low down close candle of this order block right there. You see, I had that daily order block marked out last week. We got into the candle, right? On the higher time frames, we want to see the candle. The wick. We got into the wick, or shadow, as some people call the bottom wick. They call them the shadow. I think they call it the wick and the shadow, but I call them both wicks. Right? We got into the wick, highly sensitive, reacted off of it, heavy reject of taking out this daily high, took out that daily low and closed below it. Right? Since we took out that daily low and closed below it, I'm bearish on the daily, anticipating this low being attacked. I want to see some form of retracement, right? And then attack that low, looking for a reason to sell off of some liquidity up here, right? What negates the bearishness on the daily for me, right? Can be a few things, but we're just going to go with consequent closing above consequent encroachment of that wick right there, right? That's going to negate the bearishness on the daily for me, right? Closing above the consequent encroachment of this wick right here, that's going to make me think that it wants to take out the buy side. If it wants to take out the buy side, it's going to make me think it wants to hit this volume imbalance. So closure above that consequent encroachment right there of that wick, right? And then look at this right here. When I said I'd like to see us get up to the weekly top right there, look what it happens to line up with. This is beautiful. I'm glad I'm live with y'all so y'all can see this too. Because people might be thinking you lie about stuff. Y'all see I'm just walking down through it. You see that right there? The consequent encroachment. I mean the equilibrium of this daily candle lines up with the high of that weekly um fair value gap, that weekly busy. The weekly is 45.28 even. The equilibrium is 45.27.25. So if you got up to that high, that will put you just above equilibrium. That's a place to be able to sell from, right? That's a place to be able to sell from. And if I look very close right there, there's a small volume imbalance right up there too that I didn't notice before. But it's a small daily volume imbalance right there too. So it's respectable for it to come all the way up there and do that. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Lying about what? Hey, Chris, Angela said happy birthday, son. Lying about what? What am I lying about? Okay, so that's it, man. That's it. I ain't gonna go no lower than the daily. Um, that's how I'm looking at each time frame. That's what I'm looking at for each time frame. I shared what breaks I appreciate that. I shared what breaks my bias on each time frame. Y'all make sure y'all trade what you see. Make sure you know go through your own charts and see, take a look and see what you see. Take the time to let price show you. Robinson said happy birthday, Chris, and Taryn did too. I think he in the shower. Chris, Julia, your mama asked y'all something. She said, "Did y'all want a grilled cheese?" Yes. Yes, ma'am. Your mama said, "Do you want a grilled cheese?" Yes, ma'am. They be acting like they can't hear, man. Appreciate that. Trey said happy birthday. A lot of people say happy birthday. I don't know if you heard me when I said it, but yeah. He said thank you. He said thank you to everybody except Robinson. You said everybody except Robinson, right, Chris? You said thank you to everybody except Robinson, right? Yes, sir. See that? He said yes, sir. Hey, but yeah, man, that's all I got, man. I appreciate that, Kim. I appreciate that, Sammy. Yeah, man, that's all I got. Hopefully this helped. I was sitting back here eating my leftover ribs that I had from the day we had a Vainglorious weekend. For anybody who interested in, I'm done talking about everything else. If you just here for the chart stuff, you're welcome to leave. But now I'm fun to talk about what me and the family did. So Friday, we took Chris and a few of his friends over to the trampoline, one of the trampoline parks here in Columbus. And we hung out over there for a while, and then after that, we went and I appreciate that, Deborah. Especially Rob's and his mama time. Eyes the pappy. Then we went over there to Timothy and them first scrimmage game. That was our first time being in the new stadium that they built here on the south side. Our splash tax been put to work beautifully over the last few years. We got a few new schools in our community. We got a couple new schools in our community. We got a beautiful new stadium in our community. And it's not all about like the racial divide, but a lot of times in Columbus, man, it's like our community seems to be on the back burner, and we have been on the back burner for a long time when it comes to beautifying and upkeep of the schools. And we got a beautiful sports complex at one of the high schools right around the corner from the house here. We got a beautiful new school, Spencer High. It's one of the Spencer High and Carver High. Carver got remodeled a few years back. It was a while back, and Spencer High just got a new school, a total new school. But those were the only two schools that African Americans could go to in the past. So they like hold like it's a special place in the heart for especially like the older black people in our community. And but those are the two schools that only that the black people could only go to those schools, right? And so and they just built a beautiful new stadium right next door to Spencer High School. And I just found out the day when we went to Timothy's game that Otis Spencer Stadium is it just happened to be next door to William Spencer High. All this time I thought it was named after the same person, but it's named after two different people. And Otis Spencer was a coach at William Spencer High, and they named it after the coach because of the impact that he had on the kids in our community. And when I tell you that stadium is beautiful, it is beautiful. It's amazing. And so we did that on Friday. Then last night, me and my sweetie, we went to this restaurant called Epic. We had date night. It was beautiful. She tried to get the chef's table for me, but it was all booked up. The chef's table is when you go into the kitchen and you have like 4 or 5 different chefs that just cater to you all night long. They entertain you and cook your meals right there, you know what I'm saying, while you sit in the kitchen, and they bring everything to you and they explain what every dish is and how it was made and the story behind it, and they just entertain you all night. It's beautiful. We did it a couple times. We did it as a date night. We did it as a family night. We did it either 2 or 3 times. I can't remember, but it's amazing. But we didn't get a chance to get that because it was booked all weekend. But we did. They gave, and since we couldn't get that, they gave us I guess you would call it preferential seating. It's a booth called the family booth, and it's for their family. Whenever their family comes to town, that's where the owner and his wife and their family sit. It's a huge booth, and it's got like some paintings on the wall behind it. But it's somebody did a painting of their family, but it's kind of like abstract. You can see it. Like if they be like, oh yeah, that's the family. You can't look and say, oh, that's their family. You can tell that it's a family that's having dinner, but because it's like an abstract painting, and like because they got a story about it. Epic, everything is a story. When you walk in, the floor says what. The floor is on the floor when you walk in, it says once upon a time. And the reason why I say once upon a time, because everything in there has some type of story behind it, and they can tell you the story of everything that's in there. It's like everything has some type of story. And the thing that baby, what did they say about the name Epic? That when you come in, they say it's a story behind everything because it's got once upon a time on the floor. But the name Epic, it's something about Epic with the I. What you remember what they said about that? It's like something. It's something about some stories. They can tell you all that too. But we sat at their family table, and then when we were leaving, Jamie, the owner, came out, and he was like, hey man, you enjoy your birthday? I'm like, yeah, I did. He was like, man, I apologize. This was supposed to be on your table. It was a bouquet. It was like a centerpiece bouquet. It was a huge bouquet in a glass vase. And then he was like, I'm gonna pour some of the water off. And he was like, what did we talk about giving her one? I said, man, you remember what we talked about? He be drunk as Cooter Brown every time you go in there, right? And so I'm just playing along with him. Then he was like, let me pour some of the water off because my wife already gonna kill me. And so he gave Calandra the bouquet. It was like a huge bouquet of flowers. It had like hydrangeas and roses and some, and it was like a bunch of flowers in there. It was real nice. He gave it to her. And then today, after we went to church, we went to Texas Roadhouse and hung out with my mom, my auntie, my cousin that was here for the summer, my second cousin. He's a 13-year-old kid. My nephew, he's 15. And then, but we just hung out as a family today. So Friday was Chris Day. Saturday was my day, and then today was both of our day. Clint said she wanted to make sure that everybody felt special on their birthday. She did a great job, and yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for listening to Story Time with Tim. Tim's Story Time. And that's it, man. Anybody who just got here and missed the walkthrough of the charts, just rewind and listen to it again. Till the next time, y'all be safe. I'm trying to see if I want to get up and do the tape reading tomorrow, like I've been doing on Mondays, doing the live tape reading. It's still up in there. I ain't gonna make no promises. If I feel up to it, I get up and do it. But it was an amazing time. Thank you. If I feel up to it, I might. If not, hey, I'm sorry. I just ain't feel like doing it. Anyway, y'all be safe out here in these trading streets. Until the next time, I'll see you, man. Thanks again for the birthday wishes. Big Spider gone. Yeah.